You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening and welcome to the MTN News at 9. I'm Russ Riesinger. We want to get you up to date on the latest on the coronavirus outbreak and the efforts to fend it off and keep it from spreading and possibly overwhelming local hospitals. First of all, let's look at the latest numbers now. According to the Johns Hopkins Resource Center, there are now 6,362 cases in the U.S. That number has grown by about 2,000 since just yesterday. Now, that wasn't totally unexpected because we knew there would be more positive tests since more testing is now being done. Another person has tested positive here in Montana, bringing the number to 9 now. We're told that man in his 20s from Gallatin County had recently traveled out of the country and is now self-isolating. And the number of cases in Wyoming has now grown to 11. Health officials in Billings urging people to take the virus seriously and practice social distancing. The hope is that will prevent a large outbreak that could overwhelm hospitals and put more lives in danger. This afternoon, officials with the Unified Health Command held a news conference. The CEOs of both Billings hospitals talked about the steps that they're taking to deal with the suspected coronavirus patients and also protect other patients.
Also be able to go to one access point where we have built infrastructure to isolate patients who potentially may be carrying the virus, keep them away from other patients within our hospital, and only allow them exposure to people who have protective equipment.
Our healthcare capacity in Yellowstone County, while it is really great, it's one of the really strong healthcare centers in the United States, it is still limited, and if we get overwhelmed, we're not going to be able to take care of all of our patients. And at the same time, we have to realize that this is not just about COVID. It's about our trauma patients, about our heart patients, it's about the oncology patients, and the older person that gets sick with a urinary tract infection. So all of these things have to play into this as we look at it.
Well, Billings Clinic CEO Scott Elner says they have more than 50 ventilators and 70 ICU beds. They are also canceling all elective surgeries for the time being. A centralized testing site is being worked on. That would perhaps be at the Metro. And another thing that was mentioned is that because of all of this, we are now facing a severe blood shortage. So they're asking people who can to contact Vitalant and give blood. COVID-19 having a devastating effect on the national and local economy. Today, Carbon County announced that it is closing bars and restaurants with the exception of those that serve carryout for 1 week. Yellowstone County did the same thing yesterday. This decision left business owners wondering what to tell their employees, as many have been forced to make the change to delivery service or suspend operations altogether. County officials today are offering the first steps for financial assistance to help businesses affected by the health officer order to close. Q2's Mitch Legge joins us now with more on that. Mitch?
Well, Russ, the county commissioners, county disaster and emergency services, Big Sky Economic Development, and the Billings mayor all met today to provide the first steps to get business owners some financial relief. Billings Mayor Bill Cole said that it could be weeks or months before things approach normal again. But the decision to close was made in an effort to flatten the curve of COVID-19 in Yellowstone County. All businesses, schools, or events that have been canceled or postponed should fill out a one-page form to get the ball rolling on financial aid. The form is called an economic injury worksheet. It asks for information like name, address, date the impact began, and whether the event or business had to be closed or canceled. One form per event needs to be completed and sent to 2 different email addresses. Officials urged that this should be done as soon as possible. The information collected will be used to apply for state and federal aid. There are more steps for business owners to take after that. Information will be available in the coming days from Big Sky Economic Development on how to apply for disaster loans from the Small Business Administration.
That economic injury worksheet helps us establish the overall economic impact for our community. There will be, unfortunately, another step in the process to meet your individual business needs that have been impacted. If you need assistance at all, if you pull up that worksheet and it is just not making sense to you, which can happen to me, if you need assistance in completing that form, you can send a quick email to contact@bigSkyEDA.org and we will help you. Give us your contact information, we'll get on the phone with you, we'll walk through that information with you.
And Arviskow said that there will be a time when the Billings community needs to show up and support our local businesses. Leaders urge the public to get informed from the right sources, like the Centers for Disease Control website. To find links to the economic injury worksheet and more information from county leaders, find this story at ktvq.com.
All right, thank you, Mitch. And data from those forums will be compiled into a map accessible by the public to see the economic impact of the COVID-19 response across the state. Late this afternoon, Governor Steve Bullock also held a news conference with the media to address new efforts to respond to COVID-19, focusing on the economic status and an update on test kits and those being exposed to the virus.
So there's currently 204 tests going through from the state lab today. We don't have results for those tests, but also wanted to update from presumptive positive tests that we've received. We know that there are a number of positive tests that have been connected to the Board of Regents meeting, meaning individuals that were at that meeting that tested presumptive positive. I'm aware of another one of those that are presumptive positive tested that did come, at least did attend the Board of Regents meeting.
Governor Bullock also relayed an important website during that news conference. If you have any questions about financial assistance, you can go to montanaworks.gov. Once again, that website is montanaworks.gov. Montana's Motor Vehicles Division is changing its policies to address coronavirus risk. Attorney General Tim Fox made that announcement today that the MVD is suspending all non-commercial driving tests for 30 days and limiting the number of people in waiting areas at MVD offices. Fox and Governor Bullock also announced that they will give a 90-day extension to drivers whose licenses are set to expire in March, April, and May.
Whatever the circumstances, our goals will remain the same: to provide the maximum level of service possible while doing all we can to minimize the COVID-19 exposure for our employees and the people we serve.
It's not clear what the coronavirus concerns will mean for the October Real ID deadline. Senator Steve Daines has been asking the federal government to give Montana another extension, and he introduced a bill to delay enforcement in response to coronavirus. Well, restaurants in Billings are taking more precautions to ensure no germs are spread and also that there's no direct employee-customer contact. We talked to the owner of the 4 Billings Jimmy John's today, who explained what they're trying to do.
As of today, the dining areas are closed. You can't eat in the store, but you can come in and pick up. You can take food to go. We can operate our drive-thrus, and then we can do our delivery. And the delivery, we're taking a lot of precautions just to keep our drivers safe and to keep people, if they're on quarantine or they don't want exposure, we're taking precautions for that. We're kind of uniquely set up for it. We're doing no cash on deliveries, so the drivers aren't interacting with the cash from the customers. We're doing no contact deliveries. So if you want to place an order online or over the phone, you use your card, you tell us, leave at the front door, leave on the front step, call me when you drop it off. We love that, we'll do it. We've been doing a lot of those this weekend. We're doing a lot of them today, yesterday, and we'll continue to do that.
Yaley says Jimmy John's will remain open with the option to use the drive-thru at the Heights and the Shiloh locations. All locations, however, will be ready to deliver safely without any customer contact. It is day 2 of the ordered public school shutdown. The press is on to get learning material to students and make sure that breakfast and lunch is available. We caught up with School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham for an update.
Yeah, there really is. Again, I'm complimenting a lot of people because there are a lot of people that are adjusting on the fly. Our teachers are working very hard, our building administrators, in the building of instructional units and the dissemination of those. So I would encourage families that are home to reach back to the school. If you do not have internet, let us know, because we're prepared now to supply instructional materials. We're prepared to supply online devices if need be. We're reaching out to internet providers to see if that's what the case is. So all that work is going on right now, little minions all over the place, and it's really almost heartwarming to see. We really want to provide educational supports for our students. It's going to look different, as I've said earlier, but we do want to support our students, all students, to the best of our ability through this.
And just last night, Upham was given a contract extension by the school board. His new deal kicks off on July 1st through June of 2023. Board members say the superintendent was in line for a raise but opted to keep his salary the same as the district deals with a $5 million shortfall in the budget. With sports cancellations across the world and with many sports bet kiosks located in bars, restaurants, and casinos that are closed for the time being, Sports Bet Montana finds itself in a predicament. But according to Jennifer McKean, the organization is less concerned with that and more concerned with the safety and well-being of communities across Montana.
We're all doing it and going through it together for the good of the community. We support all of those businesses who have needed to close their doors, all of those regular folks, their employees who haven't been able to go to work, and everyone in the state who is making very hard decisions for the safety of their fellow Montanans. We really, really support that.
And some good news to report tonight as the Alberta Bear Theatre announced today that its stores will reopen on September 12th. They'll begin with a strong opening act, a performance by Emmy and Tony Award-winning actress and singer Kristen Chenoweth. Chenoweth is best known for originating the role of Glinda the Good Witch in Broadway's Wicked in 2004. According to Alberta Bear Theatre Executive Director Jan Dietrich, the evening will be a black tie affair and one that showcases the improvements of the theater's $13.6 million renovation. Tickets for opening night will go on sale July 11th at 8 a.m. at the Alberta Bear box office, and they'll be available on the Alberta Bear website starting at 10 a.m. that day. COVID-19 outbreak forcing some local business owners to make some tough decisions, as we just told you. At outdoor retail store The Base Camp, that has stores in Billings and Helena, owner Scott Brown announced late today that his stores will be closed through at least Friday, March 27th. Brown told MTN News that in the end, the health and safety of his staff, customers, and communities was the #1 priority. Base Camp employees will receive full pay and benefits during the closure. Brown encourages people to stay healthy, noting there will be a time to once again love the outdoors and Montana will unite us again. Down at the street at the new Evergreen Ace Hardware, owner Skip King believes his stores can remain open and still maintain social distancing. One victim, however, is Ace's free popcorn that the store is no longer offering. Propane supplies and batteries are two of the hardest hit items, but King says he is still able to fill all of his orders. King says with people staying at home, it's the perfect time to tackle that home repair project or get the garden planted. He says last Saturday was one of the busiest days that new store has seen so far. Still to come on the 9 o'clock news here, coronavirus testing has been a debate for over a week now. And up next, we're going to hear about the frustrations one Billings woman had after being turned away twice.